Good evening, senior parents and families. My name is Mr. Rutano. I'm the 12th grade principal. I have Ms. Shawan Simpson, who is our post-secondary counselor. I have Ms. Crystal Arrington, who's one of our phenomenal alpha counselors. I have Ms. Valerie Johnson, who is our 11th grade principal, who will be helping us. And then I have Ms. Allison White, who is our peer group mediator. Welcome to the class of 2021 group meeting. Please feel free to type in your questions in the Q&A and we'll try our best to answer them. We'll also have a spot at the end for some Q&A as well. So as a reminder, I think I noticed somebody raising their hand. We can't see that or really do anything with that. So if you can type in the question in the Q&A, that's going to be the best way to get that answered. I'm going to share my screen really quick. So let me see. Can y'all see the presentation? You're seeing that Zoom one?
Yes.
The presentation?
We see, yes, we see it.
Okay. So this would be our agenda for today. Ms. Simpson will go in and talk about college and career readiness. Ms. Arrington will mention Naviance and what the counselors are doing. Ms. Allison White will talk about Project Prom, and then I'll have some general information as well as Q&A at the end. And Mrs. Simpson, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, good afternoon or evening to everyone. My name is Ms. Simpson, and I'm the new post-secondary counselor here at Stratford High School. I know many of you don't know me as well yet. I have met some of your students, and I have met probably some of you that are online as well. I am located on the second floor in room 237-A. There are some pink signs in the hallway for your students to find me. Thanks to Ms. Arrington. They put some signs there that leads directly to my room. So my main job with the students this year is to help students in their post-secondary goals, whether that's college, career, maybe going to the military, maybe taking a gap year, or maybe just working. So recently, we've all started seeing the students. They seeing their academic counselors, and I'm also seeing students for the post-secondary. The students that are virtual, we've been scheduling some Zoom meetings, and the students that are in person, we're trying to pull them out right now out of class. And what we normally do when we come together, we have a post-secondary forum where I ask a series of questions to see where the students are in the post-secondary process. I'm usually checking in Naviance, which hopefully everyone is aware of, but if you're not, Naviance is the system that we use for everything here at Stratford to monitor the students' progress with their college applications, their teachers' letter of recommendations, students input their resumes on there. There's an array of things they can do in Naviance. If there's any parent that is here that does not have access to Naviance, please do contact me. You can email me at shawan.simpson@springbranchisd.com. You can call me 713-251-3560, and my information will be posted again for you. And I will give you access to Naviance if you have an email registered with the district. We could be able to do that. Codes probably should have been done, but that's not an issue. It takes less than 2 minutes for me to give you access to that. And if you need me to walk you through some things of how to be able to access Naviance for your student, I can do that as well. Although the students use Naviance, there are a lot of things that parents can do as well. You can actually go into Naviance to view your students' progress, and you can also go in there and add, schools to the colleges I'm applying to for your, or thinking about for your students. Now, we do like the students to be the ones to go into the system to actually navigate through that, but as a parent, and being part of your students' progress, we do understand that you may want to have access to be able to view those options in the system. Naviance seems scary to a lot of people, but it's really quite a simple process. And if you do call me or email me or probably Zoom me where I can share my screen with you like we're doing now, I'll be able to show you exactly how to go in there and how to access some things, be able to see some things. Just a quick view of Naviance. We can go in there. We can find good college matches for your student. We're able to apply for scholarships in there. I know that's a big concern of parents, the scholarships. Now, the good thing is we have an abundance of scholarships in Naviance. We have some on our website for Stratford High School. And I tell the students all the time that, you know, they can Google scholarships. There's scholarships.com. But we do have scholarships in Naviance. Unfortunately, the students aren't always accessing those scholarships, but they're there. We also, at times, send scholarships and emails to the students, which they're not actually checking their emails. So we have some of our largest scholarships that we will send off, especially those closer to the deadline for students to access. So and that's what you can do in Naviance. You can apply to college, you can request your transcripts, you know, teacher letters of recommendations, also find good college matches. You can find good information about the colleges your child is choosing. And a great thing about this year due to COVID, we have a lot of virtual visits that are happening during Spartan time for some of our most popular colleges that our students choose. And there's a link for that. And even as a parent, you can get on there as well with your student link and be able to do that. So there's a lot of information with it. We can't cover it all tonight. So if you need my assistance or you need my help, please reach out to me. Once again, my name is Shawan Simpson, and I'm excited about being here this year. And I'm excited about helping your student with their post-secondary goals.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Simpson. And I'm gonna share my screen real quick that has your contact information. That way anybody would like to have that. So this is Ms. Shawan Simpson. She's our current post-secondary counselor. Her email is shawan.simpson@springbrancisd.com. Her phone number is 713-251-3560. Okay, I'm gonna
and Mr. Ratana, just to let the parents know that I know a lot of you all work from 8 to 5. So I have no problem that if you really need my assistance and you want to maybe Zoom with me in the evening before 8, just send me an email and I will set up a link for that. I'm willing to do that as well, to be able to reach, you know, more of the students and to be able to get you more involved in the process as well.
Perfect. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop sharing, and Ms. Arrington, the floor is yours.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Again, like as Mr. Ratana said, I'm Ms. Arrington, for those of you all that don't know me. And I'm one of the counselors here at Stratford. And today I'm going to just discuss well, I'm going to touch on, some, as Mr. Ratana indicated, Naviance use and how we utilize it here at Stratford. I'm also going to talk about just some of the things that we're doing as a department as results to assisting your students. So, one moment. Okay, so let me go back. All right, thank you for your patience. Give me one moment. I'm going to share my screen again. Oh my goodness. All right, there we are. Thank you. Okay, so as a department, okay, just a couple of things that I'd like for you all to know. Back in the spring of last year, even though we were home and we were learning virtually, each of the counselors made themselves available for students to have junior conferences. And there were many students who took advantage of that and actually had actual junior conferences with their counselors just to kind of let them know what they should be doing up until this point. As we speak, we are in the process of finishing up senior conferences with each and every senior on our campus. So individual conferences are scheduled for each senior with his or her assigned counselor, as well as Ms. Simpson, who is the post-secondary counselor. There was a PowerPoint that was sent out to each of the senior students just in preparation as to what they should be doing and how they can navigate Naviance. I know that many of you all are in different stages of what you need for Naviance. Some of you all are in the process of trying to request transcripts. Some of you are doing college matches or what have you. So it was difficult for me to actually prepare that for the group. But I want to say that, once again, we do have that PowerPoint on hand that gives you a play-by-play, step-by-step as to everything that you would need to do on Naviance. That would be that actually requesting transcripts, actually making sure that your schools are in the system, whatever it is that you need, we're able to show you that via the PowerPoint. Now, if that is insufficient, then all of us are available. You can contact us at any time and we will sit with the student, sit with the parent, and go through the process based on what your needs are. There is a counselor tab on our school's website with information on academics, support services, and post-secondary opportunities, and specifically with scholarships as well. So I encourage you all to make sure that you are utilizing our school's website, and again, specifically with the college and career access from the counseling capacity. We have an open door policy. Each and every counselor on the campus is ready and willing to assist your child as needed. We did lose one of our counselors most recently. She was promoted to another position, but each of us have taken on the reins and we are assisting the students who she was assigned to as needed. So, and we do have a substitute counselor who is on hand, who is assisting students as well. So each student has more than enough resources that they can utilize as it relates to what their needs are. Now, just in reference to what you all should be doing at this point, or what your students should be doing, I should say. It is October, and we know that November 1st is fastly approaching. So at this time, students should make sure that they're completing their applications via Applied Texas or Common App. October 1st was the first day that Fafsa opened, and for those that are unaware, Fafsa is the free application for federal student aid. We encourage all students to complete the FAFSA. The TASFA is the Texas application. So that is for students who may be in a situation where they're undocumented and unable to receive support from a federal capacity. Even if your intention is to use the college fund or to fund your students' education in some other capacity, we want to still encourage you to make sure that you have a FAFSA on file, because in many instances, schools will look for you to have that FAFSA before they're able to offer you any type of financial scholarships or assistance. So it's critical for you to consider making sure that you have a FAFSA completed. Hopefully you all had a chance to attend the virtual college night, which was on October 12th. It was, again, we were experiencing some challenges due to our situation, but we were still able to make things happen. And there were a number of colleges that were there that were able to answer questions and things of that nature. But if not, like Ms. Simpson indicated, we do have regular college visits during Spartan time. So we encourage you to make sure that your child is utilizing those opportunities by signing up for those college visits via Naviance. And again, like I indicated, we were meeting with the students to discuss their post-secondary plans, as well as making sure that they're in compliance so that in May, we don't have any surprises when it's time for us to graduate and move on. November, we're just continuing the process, checking for scholarship opportunities, and verifying that the college admissions office has all of your paperwork, because we know that things happen. Human error is real, and sometimes there's a disconnect. So this is the time that we're just kind of making sure that all of our I's are dotted and T's are crossed, so that we can be in a position to accept that good news that we've been accepted to our dream best fit school. And that actually happens throughout December and January as well. In February, if possible, you might want to take a visit to the college that most interests you. Check for scholarship opportunities on the website and Naviance. And those students who are taking advanced placement classes that want to take advantage of AP opportunities, they want to probably check and make sure that they're registered for the exam. Then in March, again, continue the college, with sessions, check for scholarship opportunities, things of that nature. And so pretty much this kind of gives you a play-by-play. If this session will be recorded, and we will also have it accessible. So if you'd like an actual physical list of things that you should be doing month by month, we can most certainly provide that for you. And that's pretty much it. Again, I know that we've had students who have come to us from everything from Miss, I don't even know my password, to Naviance, to I've been accepted to 5 schools. So we know that there is such a wide variety of needs. If you can indicate what your needs are specifically as relates to just being familiar with Naviance, then we are more than happy to assist you as needed.
Well, thank you, Ms. Arrington. And Ms. White, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Allison White. I'm one of the 2 class of 2021 parent liaisons. My partner, Catherine Dawson, couldn't be here this evening, but she joins me on behalf of our senior class in thanking our grade level principal, Mr. Ratana, as well as Ms. Arrington, Ms. Simpson, and Ms. Johnson for being here tonight, as well as for their time, their hard work, and most importantly, for their care and support that they give our kids every day. I'd also like to give a big thank you to the treasurer for the parents of the class of 2021, Kristen Hopper, and our fundraising chairs, Jennifer Fales and Anna Ferris. As a reminder, our students, with the help of our grade level principal, are responsible for raising money for their prom, while parents in the class fundraise for Project Prom. I'm very happy to report that thanks to the efforts of these ladies, along with countless others, we as the parents of the class of 2021 are officially finished with our fundraising efforts. So yay! We raised slightly over $50,000. That money doesn't include the $7,000 we raised for prom and transferred to the class's school account from our 2 spring bloom sales freshman and sophomore year. It was a Herculean effort, and we want to express our appreciation to everyone who volunteered their time and contributed monetarily to the many fundraisers we've had since freshman year. In particular, we want to thank John Salvaggio, who hosted 2 Topgolf tournaments, Pam Fairwarn, who created and sold t-shirts, Jen Fales, who sold fishing shirts, door signs, stadium seats, and put together the chili cookout, as well as helped with Spring Bloom. Dawn Dudley and MJ Kumar sold PJs, all of our happy hour hosts, and a huge thank you goes to our garage sale chairs, Gidget Tracy and Jamie Calloway, who miraculously held a super successful and profitable garage sale in the middle of a pandemic. It was pretty impressive. Thanks to all these efforts, we are able to not only fulfill our $40,000 goal for Project Prom, but in accordance with the bylaws we created to guide us, we will now be able to give an additional $10,000 to the kids' prom account. We feel really great about that, given our class's ability to raise funds for their prom has been hampered by both Harvey their freshman year and then a pandemic in junior and senior years. So these kids have not had an easy time of it. We obviously don't have a date for Project Prom as of yet, but parents can rest assured that we have a great leader at the helm of the event in Amy Badger. And that's really all I have to report. I just want to say thank you to all the parents in the class of 2021 for helping us achieve our fundraising goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. White. All right, so now I'm going to share my screen one more time. And these are some of the few talking points that I wanted to cover today. Some of the frustrations that were shared with me are with the hybrid model and with grades. I want to let you know that we understand, we hear you, that this has been a frustrating time for families, for students, for parents. Our teachers are rock stars and heroes at the moment. I almost feel lucky that I got out of teaching at the right time, because I've been in those classrooms and they're trying to, teach the virtual kids and engage them while at the same time they're trying to pay attention to the students who are in person and answer questions about, I can't connect to my Wi-Fi or my password isn't working, or they're having to answer questions in the Zoom and kids are getting kicked out of Zoom and trying to join in. So I don't know how our teachers are doing it, but our teachers are trying their hardest and they're doing a very good job at, making sure that the learning opportunity for the students are not diminished. Now with technology, as y'all have seen, it's just, there are some trouble with technology sometimes. It is throwing a little bit of a wrench. So what used to take, maybe 30 minutes to an hour to grade, nowadays it's taking teachers maybe 3 hours because they're clicking on an assignment and it's not loading correctly or it's not uploading correctly. So just like a lot of families and students and parents have had struggles with It's Learning on the parent portal side, our teachers are also, struggling a little bit with the It's Learning side on their side. But they're trying their hardest. They are doing their best. So I apologize if there's a little bit of disconnect sometimes. I apologize if grades are not submitted in a timely fashion sometimes. And I apologize for the frustration it has caused. I assure you our teachers are trying their hardest. I assure you that, they're doing their very, very best. So if you ever have any type of concerns with, a teacher who maybe is placing a 0 as a placeholder of a grade, or a teacher who has been, a week and a half or 2 weeks and you haven't seen a grade for an assignment or any type of issues, just go ahead and email me or email any of the grade level principals and we'll be glad to help you. I put a graduation date up there. It was recently approved by our board for the 25th of May at 8 p.m. and it'll be at Tolly Stadium. I put an asterisk by it because it is subject to change. So I know a lot of families are trying to plan the event. I know a lot of people have family members coming in from out of town. I know it is a really big deal, and I promise you we're not trying to withhold information from you, or we're not trying to, hamper your plans. We just don't want to constantly keep changing. So as soon as, this date was approved, we went ahead and released this information. So you can mark your calendars for the 25th of May, 8 p.m. at Tolly Stadium. And like I said, just keep in mind that there might be subject to change just depending on, CDC guidelines, depending on ordinance, depending on city guidelines. Prom 2021, as Ms. White mentioned, there has been a lot of fundraising, there has been a lot of effort, especially for Project Prom. At the moment, we're kind of a little bit hesitant to start shopping for venues because these guidelines are changing so much and because of what happened to the class of 2020. So if you're not aware, the class of 2020 reserved their venue. They had their plans set forth and they put a down payment of about $20,000 to $25,000. When the event didn't go through, that class didn't receive that money back. So there's a lot of money that was raised. There's a lot of money that families put forth and paid. There's a lot of money that students paid with, out of their own pockets that they just didn't get back. So there is still conversations had between, our district and the venue to see what's the next step. But that's kind of a reason why we haven't been able to sit down and start venue shopping or sit down and start picking a date for prom. Again, it's not because we're trying to withhold anything from our kids. On the contrary, we want our kids to have the most memorable senior year as possible because, as Ms. White already explained, like these students, these families have gone through a lot. They did have Harvey, now they're having this, and we want to try to keep this senior year as memorable as possible with happy memories. So as soon as we get more guidance and direction from, for the prom of 2021, I'll go ahead and release that information to you all. With traditions, we're trying. We tried to do a pep rally last week, and literally 5-10 minutes before the pep rally started, where it had our seniors out there, we had the balloon, a little mini dust storm and a little bit of sprinkles came and kind of started blowing our stuff away, so we had to cancel it. So it's kind of a sign of the times. And we what we went ahead and did for the homecoming game and for this big memorial game coming up is we gave our seniors priority. So our seniors were the first ones who had the ability to purchase those football tickets. We did that for homecoming for 2 days, and we did that for the memorial game for 1 day today. So we are, again, like I said, we are trying our very hardest to make sure that our seniors do feel, special, and they do feel like it is a memorable and special senior year. I know earlier today, Coach Rankin was talking about signing day. Again, it's something that we will be planning. It will more than likely be outdoors just to make sure that we're able to follow those safety guidelines and protocols. With the AP exams, This is from our website. So you go to SSH at springbranchiSD.com and you go to the academics. On that tab, you'll find a part that says testing. And this is straight from the website. So students interested in taking the AP exam for a course enrolled in must register for the AP exam online in the College Board platform. Once the registration is completed, students may secure a test by submitting a payment by November 6th. And then, so right here where it says, this will be your best point of contact would be Ms. Hudik. I'm gonna go back. Ms. Hudik will be able to ask, she's our new testing coordinator. She'll be able to answer any type of testing questions. This is, so for example, here where it says the exam schedule, you'll be able to click on that live whenever you go to the website. Whenever you're trying to make your payments, you go to My School Bucks, you're able to do that live as well. This is the exam schedule. So you'll be able to see what we have going on in May, as well as what subject is there. I'll leave that up for a quick minute and then I'll stop sharing my screen and we'll open up the board for any type of questions that are coming in through the Q&A. Again, this is something you can find on our website. If you go to academics, underneath the tab of testing.
And Mr. Retana, I was going to, before I left, show the parents in Naviance quickly how to get to the scholarship list.
Okay.
I know there's some, once you stop sharing, I show them that quickly.
Perfect. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing now. And it's all yours, Ms. Simpson.
All righty, let me go over here. And I'm gonna log out just so they can see. Okay, so parents, when your students go into Naviance, if you don't have a password just yet, you can go in with your student. They all should have one to get in there. So once they log in, and this is a real neat trick, I'm gonna go in as a student. Once the student goes in, and I've been showing all the kids when they come into the office, if they go up here to the top where it says colleges, click that and then click colleges home. This whole screen right here, let me move this thing out the way. We'll get them, let me see how to make that small. Okay, this whole screen will have everything they need to do in Naviance, okay? Where we talked about the college match, myself and Ms. Ayrton, they can click on college match to see what colleges match to their to your student, the super match. And all this side is based off of what's in Naviance, whether it's their GPA or whether it's their SAT or ACT scores. And over here on the research colleges, is where the colleges I'm thinking about. At this point, we don't want any in that section though, because we're past the thinking. Now we need to be applying because we have deadlines coming up. And so they should be more so down here. Apply to colleges I'm applying to. When they click on that, it's a red plus sign at the top over there. It won't show on my demo screen, but they can add their colleges to it. This is where they'll do the letters of recommendation. This is where they'll do their manage the transcripts. Here, you can see their test scores, if they took the PSAT, SAT, or the ACT. And right here is where a lot of you all are inquiring about right now, and that is the scholarships and money. But real quickly, down here where it says college visits, it shows what upcoming visits we have virtually that's scheduled for tomorrow, which is during the student Spartan time. So if you go here and click on scholarship list, you'll see here how a list will come up and you can filter over here to show the match scholarships. You can click here for the show on the 12th grade ones. You can click here to show if you're need-based or merit-based. There's some students who say they're not going to qualify for financial aid, so they would want to click on the merit-based. And what I tell the students to do is up here with these three little dots, I need to make it look a little smaller. There we go for me. So I tell them to click on deadline, and you click it again twice. And what it does is it puts all the scholarships in descending order. So you can see all the ones that's due for December, all the way down to November, and then to October, okay? So these are just some of the ones that we have on Naviance. A lot of the large ones are gonna be listed. And as you can see from October, we only have a few left. The Jack Kent Cook is a big scholarship that's due October the 30th. So there's still time to get that done if they get started tomorrow. The Coca-Cola scholarship is coming up due. So this is where the students can go in and look for all those scholarships, as well as there may be some on our home webpage. And because we're in one district, you know, we have some at Memorial that Memorial may have that we don't have. And it's quite okay to go and search other school districts' websites for scholarships. If they are not school specific, then you can apply. And I tell people, go anywhere you see scholarships and apply. At Northbrook, at Memorial, use some of ours. You can go to other districts. You can use some of Katie's websites because the scholarships are out there. The thing is, we can present them to the students, but they have to apply in order to receive them. So that's where you can come in at. If you need to call me and ask me, you know, maybe which ones are coming up, and maybe I can, you know, give you a name or send you a link or something, but they're right there inside Naviance. So if you like to, you can send me an email with your email address, contact, and then I can reach back out for some of these scholarships. But we are telling the students to apply. They have to start checking their email, but you can't get any money if you don't apply. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ratana.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, at this time, please feel free to type any kind of questions you have in the Q&A. Our presentation is finished, but we'll allow this time for any questions and answers. I did get a question about the COVID tracker that's on the Spring Branch website, and the question was, why do the numbers go down instead of tallying up? The response to that is that COVID tracker is tracking live cases. So whenever a student, you know, has quarantine, or whenever a student has tested negative, that number will go down because it's no longer considered a live case. I also got asked the question of, you know, what determines who gets tested, who gets contacted, and our safety officer, Mr. Blaze, is doing contact tracing with our nurse, Ms. Hammond. So they go through an extensive process where they try to figure out, you know, who was exposed, how long were they exposed, is it something they should be concerned about? At that point in time, any faculty member, staff member, or student whom they feel needs to be tested, they'll go ahead and notify them. So Ms. Arrington, can you attest to this a little bit? The question is, when are transcripts sent out? Can you talk about that process?
Yes. So basically, as a department, we meet every Friday and we go through the most recent transcript requests and we send them out at that time. The reason that I just indicated that I would like for students to just maybe check up on them is because we get the listing for the most recent section of transcripts. So just to alleviate being lost in translation or there being some type of disconnect, it wouldn't hurt for the students to just check in with their counselor. Hey, I requested my transcript such and such, have they been sent out yet? And we can make sure that we can kind of confirm or deny that has happened. But to answer the question, every Friday, we sit as a collectively as a group and we go through the requests and we send them off as needed.
And then this may be Ms. Simpson or you, Ms. Arrington. Someone just asked about FAFSA. So do they need to be doing FAFSA? What is the process for FAFSA?
Yes, I just responded to the question. So with the FAFSA, yes, please do the FAFSA. Even if you don't think you're going to qualify for the FAFSA, go ahead and do it because as Ms. Arrington stated earlier, most colleges do require that before they give you any type of aid. And there are some scholarships also that requires that before you're going to get aid. Now, it's true sometimes the merit don't require that, but it doesn't hurt to do it. It's a simple process. If you need help with that, we can walk you through that as well. The first thing is to go to fafsa.ed.gov, and you and your student needs to create a FAFSA ID and PIN. And when you apply, make sure you're applying to the 2021-2022 school year. But if you need help with that, please reach out to me and I can go over that with you as well via phone or Zoom.
Another question is, do we need to apply to a school if you're in the top percentage of the class and will be automatically admitted?
Yes, even if you're in the top 10%, you still have to apply to the school. Now, because it's automatic admittance to the public schools in Texas, except for UT, it's the top 6%. you still have to apply. Now, it's automatic admittance into the school. It doesn't mean you're going to get into one of the specialized schools, though, okay? But you do have to still apply.
And then Ms. Arrington, we have a question of who's going to be handling Ms. Bishop's students?
Actually, we work pretty well collectively as a department, so we pretty much have disseminated all of the responsibilities as needed. But more specifically, we have one person was handling. She had A through C. I know that I have the B's. That's all I know. So if you are a student whose last name begins with B, then you can send all of your concerns my way. And either Mr. Harrington or Mr. White has the A's or the B's. I believe that it was posted somewhere. I'm just not positive. But send it to any of us, and we will make sure that we take care of whatever the need is. And again, let me just reiterate. We do have a substitute counselor on hand, so they are working collectively with us. So between all of us and the substitute, we will most certainly make sure that your students' needs are met.
There are a few senior ticket questions. Tickets were sold exclusively to seniors today. Tomorrow they will be beginning to be sold to underclassmen. So those are on a first come, first served basis. And we have a finite amount of those. So we don't have an unlimited amount of those. If you're a virtual student or if you have off campus, Ms. Goss is here as early as 7:15 in the morning. So if you can be here at 7:15 in the morning, that's when you'll be able to come in and purchase your ticket.
There's a question, Ms. Bertana, about how do they get a transcript for a scholarship application not in Naviance? And it's the same process, parents. The student still needs to request the transcript in Naviance. Now, if they're wanting to pick it up in Naviance, they need to indicate that in there, that I'm gonna come pick it up, and they will get that from Ms. Talia Webb. If they want the transcript to be mailed to a location, they need to add the address inside Naviance. Now, if the scholarship is coming up, like we have a couple that's doing 3 days, then just send Ms. Talia, do it in Naviance, and also please send Ms. Talia Webb an email and let her know, you apologize for the last minute. However, I need this transcript due to the scholarship deadline being October the 30th. And she'll get it done for you. But you have to notify her that this is something that is of urgency, that's coming up soon, and I need to have that done. But in the future, please let your students know we want you to get those requests in a little sooner. That way, no deadlines are missed by us or by the student.
I just wanted to add something really quickly, if at all possible. In conferencing with students, I have noticed that there are several students who are applying to colleges that require a counselor recommendation, and they have not made a connection with the counselor. Generally speaking, we require 2 weeks because we literally write these letters from scratch. There's no form letter because colleges don't like form letters. So these are all authentically written by hand from scratch, and we generally require 2 weeks. We know that now there may be some students that may be in a situation and they may need for us to kind of produce these within the next couple of days. So if that be the case, it is imperative that your student reach out, go to whatever the colleges are that they're applying to confirm if they need a counselor letter of recommendation. And if they do, they need to make a very swift connection with their counselor to make that happen.
Thank you. And then a question was asked, what would happen to the class funds and there is no prom? That's a really good question, and I don't know the answer to that. So if that is the case, I will find out. Ms. White, can you speak to what would happen to the funds, that the parents have raised for Project Prom if there is no prom?
We don't have a specific plan. We would definitely, if that situation arises, we would definitely have a meeting with the parents, get different ideas. My best guess is that what we would do is use that money to make a lasting gift to the school and on behalf of the class. But we're going to cross our fingers and hope that does not happen. But we will be open to discussion about it if that arises.
Gotcha. Are there any more questions?
Mr. Ratana, did you address specifically a virtual student coming up? I can't remember. Did you?
Yes, ma'am.
You did? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So virtual students, Ms. Gaz is here as early as 7:15. So from 7:15 to 8 o'clock, virtual students can safely come up here and purchase their tickets. I don't see any more questions popping up in the Q&A.
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask if Ms. Arrington or Ms. Simpson, if you've what you've heard from college reps that you've been talking to about what college, these kids' freshman years in college might look like, just in terms of the pandemic. Like, what are they thinking? Are they going to do a hybrid? As we are right now, they're planning for spring semesters, most of them. So I'm just, what are you hearing?
Well, actually, in talking to a lot of the reps, I don't think they've really gotten that far into thinking of whether or not the students are going to be hybrid or on campus. Pretty much right now, they're thinking on campus, because we do talk a lot about housing. And some of the questions that come up with housing, they're asking is that schools who normally don't allow freshmen to live on campus, some have said they may allow them to have apartments outside of campus because of the pandemic, or some, maybe one person to a room instead of the two or the suites. So right now, as most have stated, they're treating it as it's going to be a regular time. However, depending on the state of the country at that time, they'll make decisions, then if any updates are to be done. Most of what they're talking about right now is letting us know that they are test optional. That
I was going to speak on that. Yes.
Yeah, that they're looking right now for the holistic child. They're not concerned as much about the SAT or the ACT scores anymore. And just really still letting students know that they're still providing scholarships to the, to the universities. So that's been basically what a lot of the talk is right now. They're moving forward with, in-person learning, unless it's those schools who are already straight hybrid right now or straight virtual.
Yes, I was gonna concur with you, Ms. Simpson, but I was also gonna say that if there is any pro of this whole experience is that where students may not have been considered, they will be more so now, because colleges are in a situation where they're experiencing a deficit as it relates to students who are enrolled in school due to the pandemic. So there's a lot more emphasis on the holistic approach with students being admitted. We see that with the test optional. So with that being said, it is critical for students who may be on the cusp to make sure that everything else that they are presenting is in a position that makes them look favorable to schools, so that they can, in return, get that admissions that they're looking for. Since they don't have to necessarily not require, but they don't have to depend on their test score. They want to make sure that they emphasize those other areas like their volunteerism. Because we're in a pandemic, what are they doing to meet the needs of their school or the community? What are they doing in reference to leadership? So make sure that they emphasize these other areas so that they can be appealing to these schools that may have overlooked them in the past.
There was a parent that asked about the school SAT test today. Yes, those scores will come out a little later, and please forgive me for forgetting to mention that is one of the a very important thing when it comes to the SATs and the ACTs, mainly because some students qualify for waivers, SAT or ACT fee waivers. And with these fee waivers, it allows the students to be able to apply to colleges for free. And normally the student have to have used one of the waivers in order to get that, but there's another way to do it as well with the NACA waivers. But the only way to qualify for those free waivers is if you qualify for free reduced lunch, maybe a foster child, or you are in a program that serves low income students. So if you do have a student that is on free and reduced lunch, please have them to reach out to me as well. If they need some assistance in applying for colleges for their application fees. We can look into that as well.
Okay, we'll give another opportunity for any Q&As that might be coming in. Ms. White, did you have anything else to add?
Actually, I maybe have a couple more questions. I didn't hear anything yet about class rank forms. And then also letters of recommendation, just advice about, the process if kids haven't done that yet.
Okay. I'll speak about the recommendation, Ms. Ayrton. You can do the class rank form if you like to.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
As far as the letters of recommendations, the process is the first thing the students want to reach out to the teachers of their choice. You want to make sure that you choose teachers who know you, knows your character, knows your academics, and more importantly, will give you a great recommendation. So once you reach out to them and they agree, I tell the students to, send an email and then also go to them in person if they're on campus. And once the teacher agrees to do it, then the student needs to go back into Naviance. And they can use the same way I showed them. Click on colleges at the top, click on colleges home, and scroll down to letters of recommendation. And the student will add the request in there. So once they do add request, there's a box they're going to click on, and all the teachers, the staff in the school is going to pop up, and the student would choose that teacher. And once they choose that teacher, they will decide if they want the teacher to write a recommendation for all the colleges or for only certain colleges. The students must be careful, though, with the recommendation letters. And this is something that is kind of quite new to me this year. It's because some schools don't require any. Some schools have a minimum, some schools have a maximum, and some don't want any at all. So before they ask for certain schools, they need to do their research and see, well, does the school even want a letter of recommendation? Because they may not, and if the teacher tries to upload, it's gonna give an error back, it's gonna be blocked. So that's pretty much it. The first step is, reaching out to the staff and asking the teachers to write them a letter. And we want them to try to do that at least 2 weeks ahead of time, to give the teachers opportunity to write the letters, because you remember they have over 200 some students. So we don't want you to ask them today and it's due on the 30th. That's probably not going to happen. And I've been telling students as of lately to follow up with the teacher, because maybe the email got lost, somewhere in the other hundreds that we get daily. And I tell them to follow up. If they follow up and didn't receive an answer, I've advised them to let me know. And then I follow up with the teachers as well, just to remind them that, hey, you have a student that requested a letter. Will you still be able to complete this recommendation letter for them? And if not, we've asked the teachers to let us know. We just sent the letter out to the staff today, about that. But our staff is real great about getting those done and completing them. Matter of fact, we got some great feedback after that letter today from the staff about doing so.
And then just to kind of piggyback on the whole letter thing, from a counseling perspective, if you need a counselor letter of recommendation, you would not necessarily have to request that in Naviance, because as counselors, we have somewhat more of a stringent obligation to be compliant with your request than teachers do. Actually, if you ask a teacher, it's a courtesy for them to say yes, but counselors, we pretty much have to do it. So that's fine, and we welcome that. But the student does not have to actually request us in Naviance, because our request goes in a separate area. It goes under written evaluation for counseling component as opposed to the teacher evaluation. So those are different. Now, as it relates to the second part of your question, I believe, which was about class rank or having your rank appear on is that what it was, Ms. White? I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay,
so the way that our district works in that we have situations where we have multiple valedictorians. If you think about it, and I'm not positive what our actual number is this year, but we've been known to have 50 plus valedictorians. Those students would be considered number one until the actual breakdown occurs. So then it's just that if we had 52 valedictorians, whoever is number 53, even though they would be figuratively number two, once the breakdown occurs, then they could quite possibly be at the bottom of the first quartile, if not the second quartile. So it would be advantageous for students not to indicate that they want their rank to be shown unless they are a valedictorian candidate. That would be our professional opinion and suggestion for that reason specifically. Colleges are very much aware of spring branch. They know that we provide a level of rigor that is second to none with many other districts. So it's not a matter of them feeling like we're going to be inferior. If they want to calculate the rank, they can do that very much on their own without us providing that for them. So it's not an issue as to them not being able to understand where the student lies. They know where the student lies, and they can pretty much calculate that on their own. And we strongly suggest that they do that if they're not, again, one of the number ones.
And I believe that the rank request is done. It was October the 15th when it was due inside Skyward. In the portfolio part, the student was to fill that form out. And I forgot to mention, Ms. White, with the recommendation letters, once the student gets the yes, they need to submit a brag sheet and or both resume to that teacher. And as one parent asked earlier, I did look on the website. I was not able to locate the brag sheet, but we do, all the counselors have one, and I have several. And they email us, we can send them one, but we'll make sure to get a couple different ones on the website to our web person for that.
I know that our lead counselor, Mr. Harrington, did send out several emailings over the summer, and of those was one that included the brag sheets. So if you're able to maybe go back through your emails and see if you can locate it. If not, again, like I indicated, you're more than welcome to reach out to us directly, and we can send that to you without a problem.
We have a couple more recommendation letter questions. Is what schools or which all schools does the letter recommendation go to, and how many recommendation letters are needed?
So as I stated, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Okay, so basically it really depends. I would say that most of the Texas schools do not require them. Most of the Texas public schools do not require letters of recommendation. However, there are specific schools within the university. So maybe the School of Business or the School of Nursing or what have you may be the exception. So it really is going to depend on what the school is. And that's really up to the student to do that research. And if they need assistance with that, we're more than willing to do that. And generally speaking, we normally say for the students to include 2 teacher letters of recommendation. Maybe that's one who they had a specialized class with. So if they're interested in engineering, they may want to get either the engineering teacher or maybe a math or science teacher who can speak to their intellectual ability. And you want to get another teacher who, again, you were able to make a rapport with or have a connection with that can kind of speak to your character, your work ethic, or what have you. The counselor perspective is always going to be that. It's always going to be who you are from a social, emotional component capacity. So that's what we try to focus on, because we know that the teachers are going to focus on the other capacities more scholastically. So.
We have a question. What should the student do if the student thinks they may lose their valedictorian status this semester and the class rank form has already been submitted?
Well, basically, I think that we're just at this point, we just have to roll with it and then just kind of see what happens. It hasn't happened as of yet, so we're not really in a position to say yes or no. Now, in the event that they do lose their status, then we can deal with that at a later at a later time. It is not uncommon for colleges to be in a position to recant their offer, but I would like to think that if this is based on maybe one class or so, that it's not going to be that detrimental. That's my position.
And Mr. Retano, with the recommendations, once the student goes into the letter of recommendations and it's going to be there, it's going to let them know if this school, what the school's requirements are for recommendations, if they have a minimum or a maximum. So they'll see that inside Naviance when they go to do the letters of recommendation requests.
I don't see anything new in the Q&A section. Ms. White, do you think of anything else that parents would want to know right now?
One other thing I wanted to ask was, do you know offhand exactly how many kids are in the senior class right now?
I do not. And I will say that that is for various reasons, because there is an actual number, and I believe that it's 510, give or take, but that's not really taking into account reclassified students or students who are scheduled to graduate in 2021, but may not necessarily be there as of yet. So as of right now, I believe the number is 510, but do not quote me on it, because even as we speak, we're having students who are coming in as new students who are registering. So, and at some point they will be included in the equation.
Okay.
So
And is there a breakdown of GPA for each quartile? I don't think I
yes.
saw that was that on the rank form that we got, or?
Now that I'm not positive, it really depends each year on what the highest GPA is. But I have not seen this year's, no ma'am.
Okay. Will you all publish it when you get it?
I can ask that question as if we can publish it, but I know that if someone is interested in knowing where they fall, then they can speak with their counselor directly and the counselor can provide that information.
Okay. It is almost 7:30. I want to thank, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us and asking these really phenomenal questions. As always, if you have any kind of questions or concerns that we may help you with, please go ahead and email us directly. And at this time, we'll be ending the meeting. I hope everybody has a great evening. Thank you all. Bye-bye.